Speaking of Brandon Aiyuk, we haven't heard from him in weeks. When the news of his car accident came out, Brandon was all over it and said really insensitive things, which offended me. I thought the whole thing that he did all offseason was funny until then. Then he hasn't really spoken since then. Jed York embarrasses himself, to put it mildly, and nothing from Brandon. So the question I think a lot of people are wondering is, what happened? What's up with Brandon? And I don't know for sure. I'm going to say it first, Tyler. This is just how I feel. But my best guess with Brandon, I've been going back and forth with him a lot. I do think he's dealing with some mental health stuff. And I would guess, just based on the pattern of behavior, sorry if this sounds irresponsible, but I'm guessing he may be bipolar. Because I feel like he goes through stretches where he's very turned up and he won't stop. And then he goes through stretches where we don't hear from him for a long time. And I don't know what's worse for him, the highs or the lows. But my best guess is that the high wore off, the manic high wore off, and he realized that like he hurt himself by doing that stuff, and that he's not going to play football this year. And now he's back in the low, and I feel for him. That's my best guess, is that he may have some bipolar tendencies, and he's an emotional roller coaster. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah. I was going to say that, or he just really doesn't like Kyle. I think part of it is that too. I think
it could be both.
Yeah. I think Jed didn't do anything to Brandon. All he did was encourage him and give him a check. Whereas Kyle, that's who he is face to face with. So, not saying it's right, because don't ever make fun of someone after they get in a car accident. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I could see it, because he really does. Like, you noticed it like that split personality he'd have, even when he was going, like, I guess manic, to put it, was he'd have those videos that would go crazy, and he's like, oh yeah, like Jane Daniels, Niners, I'm playing soccer
every day,
Commander,
and 5 times a day.
But then later it was like another person took over and was like, oh yeah, I just didn't get paid, I was ready, I was hitting my markers. And he'd do those typed stories that were really mature and well spoken. But then it was like, okay, he's turning a new leaf. Then the next day would be another video of like him buying a mansion in Virginia.
And when he's in these modes where he can't stop posting, he just seems like extremely impulsive.
Yeah.
To the point where he's hurting his own career. And we're like laughing, but it's like, dude, this is a kamikaze mission, man. What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, more stuff comes out and he won't say a word. Is it because someone talked to him, or is it just because he goes through these cycles? I think it's more likely that he goes through these cycles, which makes it sad.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think it's good he's living near someone he's like actually close friends with, Jane Daniels. Like, I think he really spiraled when Debo left.
I think that's true.
I feel like even though they were competing with each other for I'm the better receiver, they were still like best friends, and that was his boy. Because I feel like that's what Debo did bring to the team really well. He was friends with everyone. He was friends with the Cabo clique. He was friends with BA. He was friends with Trent. He was friends with everyone.
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. And so...
Not me.
Yeah. Well, he would have if you gave him a chance. But yeah, I think that's kind of what hurt BA. And so I do obviously hope the best for him. Niners could definitely use him again. But yeah, it is really sad.
Can you imagine if their starting wide receivers were Stribling and Aiyuk?
I would actually be confident in that. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the whole idea of replacing Aiyuk with Mike Evans is rich. Like, I don't know, man. Mike Evans just had a very nondescript.
They are still trying to replace that massive hole Brandon Aiyuk left in the team.
Yeah, maybe Stribling can do it, but
doubt it.
That's just one guy. I mean, it'd be better to have them both.
Brandon Aiyuk at his peak was a top 5 receiver in the league.
And it's like, if you can reconcile with Deebo Samuel, who was like punching teammates and complaining about his role and requesting trades, if you can reconcile with him. But again, with Brandon, it's not so simple. Like, I do think he has I do think he's bipolar. Does he want to play football? The answer to that question could be different every day. So it may be kind of complicated. And again, my heart goes out to him. I hope he finds some peace.
Yeah, I know. I've been hoping he'd like reinstate just to
just don't. The 49ers season is just around the corner. So let's head over to PrizePicks and make some official projections for the 49ers stars. Brock Purdy, 27.5 passing touchdowns, more or less. I'm going to say more. Deebo Samuel, 724.5 receiving yards. I'm going to say less. Mike Evans, 6.5 receiving touchdowns. I'm going to say more. Download the PrizePicks app. New users play $5 and get 150 in lineups when you win if you use promo code HMA.
Get his head right. Get some sort of
like honestly, like what's going on with Brandon. I got the same worries about Jed. I feel like they kind of might be in similar places right now where they're making impulsive, bad decisions, self-destructive tendencies, and you wonder like, well, why? What's going on? But both of them are like, what's going on with you guys? One guy one misdemeanor, one guy got 2 misdemeanors.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this is Jed's first time in the rodeo. I don't think that's a first time decision.
See, I've heard people say that, and I can see why. Why do you say that? What gives you that suspicion?
Because he was lurking on online ads. Like,
yeah. How would you find those?
Exactly. And to have the confidence, like, okay, for example, I've never done it. If I were to ever put myself in a situation like that, I would probably think to go to a hotel or go somewhere away from my home and their home to be safe. Like, I wouldn't trust going to their place, and I wouldn't trust them coming to mine because, again, it's the internet. I don't know who I'm going to see. So that's my thing. I feel like you'd only go that like out of your way to meet someone if you've done it before and it was fine.
What about this though? Because we're just speculating. We're not accusing.
Yeah.
What about this though? Like this guy has no experience, no street smarts. He goes online and searches escorts in Ohio and finds a clear scam ad and is like, this looks real, and shows up with with all the evidence. Like, this is a guy who has no street smarts and has never done this before, had no idea what he's doing. See, that I feel like you could interpret it that way too. Like, this guy doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing.
I just think he's around a lot of rich guys with a lot of money that have been around the bend in that way. I feel like there is like a very, I feel like there's a low percentage chance that he's never at least heard of how these kind of
go.
It
does make you wonder why he got divorced and stuff like that, but
yeah,
let's leave that one alone. This guy has a bunch of consonants, a Y and X, 2 H's, a W, 2 K's, and an E, and a 34. Jed and BA charged for their acts, but Kyle didn't. Driving reckless with bodily and property damage caused more physical harm than what Jed and BA did.
Well, because apparently it was the autopilot for Tesla, so.
It's a good point, though. He caused more physical and bodily harm than what Jed and BA did, considering Jed didn't do anything.
I bet you if Jed did it in Santa Clara, I wouldn't have been charged. I'll tell you
that much. Too Much Sauce 33 says, could Purdy be the only 49er who can yell an expletive at Fred Warner on the field and get away with it? Would Fred let anyone else
actually, yes, bro. So much respect for Brock Purdy. He bought a fan. I am now a full-blown Brock Purdy fan.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that's so sick. I love that. The only thing that would have been better is if he got in his face and like helmeted him. That would have been so hard.
If Freddie had to come out and be like, no, I like that. I like that because I'm just trying to make it like a game type situation, and Brock's trying to do the same thing. So I really respect. I love Brock.
No, Brock wasn't. Brock was like, nah, you've been talking too much shit. Like, oh, that's so awesome. Could you tell us what the expletive was?
I'm not allowed to, but he didn't like call him a name. It was more like you could figure it out. It was it wasn't a name call. It was an exclamation directed at him. You know exactly what he said. I can't say it.
I mean,
Frisco Shill says BA quieted down right after Diggs was signed. Maybe the signing triggered the low side of his internet diagnosed condition. Possible.
Wait, so you're saying Brock didn't say you like that, like Kirk Cousins? It wasn't a you like that.
It was essentially that, just with fewer words and a curse word.